Do you love the English alphabet? If so, then stick around to watch me do a tier list where I rate all 26 letters of said English alphabet in a tier list. If not, and you think this is a whacked out idea for a video and really shouldn't be a thing I'm doing, then feel free to leave a dislike and leave. It's not like dislikes show up on videos anymore, so it won't affect me. So here we are, a tier list of letters of the English alphabet. We're going to rank all 26 letters, ranging from S tier down to F tier. If that's not confusing, then I don't know what is. No, I've not run out of ideas. I've got plenty of ideas. This isn't scraping the bottom of the barrel for content. So, starting off, we might as well just go through in order, and first off we have A. A is a very versatile letter, I think. Although not the most interesting, I'm going to put it in B. Which brings us to the letter B. B's a nice letter. The second of any sequence is usually kind of a weird one for some reason to me. I don't know why. Like, you look at any sequence or series of things and the second one is always kind of forgettable, you know? The second episode of a TV series is usually a bit middle of the road and forgettable. The second time you have sex is usually the same, so I've heard. Yeah, the second anything is usually a little bit on the naff side, but it's also kind of a nice letter. It's the first letter of the name of my favourite band as well, so, I mean, as a Breaking Benjamin fan, I'm going to put it in A. Next up we have the letter C. Now the letter C is what I was aiming for most of my exams back in secondary school. Didn't quite hit it for the most part, but hey, it was an interesting one to go for. C, I'm going to put in C. I don't have much to say about the letter C, to be honest. D. Now the letter D is a nice one. I quite like the letter D. It's a nice letter. It rolls off the tongue nicely. D, 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 D. It's quick to say, so, you know, if you need to shout out a letter quickly in a hurry in a life and death situation, you can shout out D because it's quick. You can say it quickly. Plus, Dick begins with a D, and Dick's amazing, so I'm going to put it in A. E. E is another interesting one. Well, E, I think, has to go in S tier because, I mean, it has a whole meme named after it. E is an amazing letter, so it's going to go in S. Okay, the letter F. The word fuck begins with the letter F, and that's a funny word, so I don't know. There's not really anything too remarkable about the letter F, I think, so I'm going to put that in C as well. G. What can I say about the letter G? Really nothing. It's a shit letter. It's going in D. H. What can we say about H? Is there anything interesting to say about the letter H? I feel like it's one of those middle of the road letters. If the letter H was a person, they'd probably be somebody unbelievably average, like, I don't know, me for example. I'm going to put H in C. The letter I next. The letter I, I'm going to put that in B. The letter J obviously needs to go in S tier. It's the best letter of all time because, hello, Jake. The letter K. K is an interesting one. I like the letter K. It's got a nice shape to it. It's interesting. It's a memorable letter. I'm going to put it in A tier. The letter L. I'm going to put the letter L in B. M. Well, the letter M is the 13th letter in the alphabet, and 13 is a number between 12 and 14. I don't really know where I'm going with that, to be honest. I'm going to put M in B tier because the word moo begins with M and cows moo and cows make beef and I like beef, so that's my reasoning. The letter N. The letter N is going to go into D mostly because it's a good letter, but there are a few words beginning with N that are rather disagreeable, so that brings it down a few places, I think we'll all agree. The letter O. The letter O looks like many things. It looks like a mouth, it looks like a vagina, it looks like a butthole. I'm going to put it in B purely because it's funny. The letter P. I really don't like the letter P because if you're speaking into a microphone and you say anything beginning with a P, if you say it with too much force, it makes a popping noise. And even with a pop filter, it sometimes gets through and ruins your audio recordings, and I absolutely hate it. It's the bane of my existence when I'm trying to record audio, so P is going in F tier. Fuck you, letter P, you're the worst letter in the alphabet. Or at least you would be if it wasn't for some of these other ones. The letter Q. What is the point of the letter Q? I mean, what do we use it for? The word queen. That's about it. Q is literally used at the beginning of one word, and its only other use is to be in the middle of other words just to make sure they flow correctly. It's a pointless letter, I don't like it. Plus Queen begins with Q and the Queen's dead, which means this letter is dead, so it's going in F. The letter R. Well, racism begins with R, so that's also going in F tier. The letter S. Well, S is the noise snakes make, and I kind of like snakes. Snakes look like the letter S as well. And I think all these points combined will elevate this letter into the S tier. Has anyone caught on to the fact that this video is just an absolute fucking piss take at this point, or is anyone actually still watching this unironically? The letter T. What can we say about the letter T? I can't think of anything particularly interesting that T has done in recent years. Well, tit begins with T, and I guess tits are kind of nice, so I'm going to put T in B tier because I don't think it's done all that much interesting stuff recently. Let's be honest, the letter T's career has really taken a nosedive in like the last decade or so. It's really got to up its game if it wants to be bumped up any higher. The letter U. Again, U is kind of a dumb letter to have in the alphabet. We don't really use it at the beginning of any words. It's only there to fill up the letter count in other words. What's the point of the letter U? It's pointless. It does nothing. So letter U, I'm going to put that in D rank. The letter V now. Okay, honestly, the only notable thing about the letter V is that it's the word that begins vagina. That's really the only notable thing this letter has done. It's a one-hit wonder letter. I'm going to put it in C, because while it is pretty useless, vagina funny. The letter W now, we are going to put that in... I'm going to put that in C as well. It's really just two V's that have decided to jam themselves together, and that somehow makes a different sound. It's really stupid, but hey, it's a letter that exists. And now we get into the last three letters, X, Y, and Z. These letters are really only useful if you're talking about three-dimensional coordinates. And I guess we would be in a much worse off position without perception of three dimensions, but on their own, are these three letters worthy of anything higher than a C? I don't know. Right, well the letter X is obviously going in F tier, it is useless. I can only think of two letters that begin with Z, xylophone and xenomorph. And besides that, it's barely used in like any other words whatsoever. X is used as a rating for adult films more than it's used as an actual letter. One of the worst letters in the whole alphabet. Y, on the other hand, is probably the most useful out of these last three letters. I mean, Y, you can use it in yellow, you can use it in... Yellow begins with the letter Y, and yellow's kind of an ugly colour. I'm going to put Y in C rank. It's not very notable, but it's not the worst. And finally we have Z. Zebra? I can't think of any other words that begin with Z that are actual real life words that weren't invented for some kind of sci-fi show. Sorry Z, but you're just not really all that useful, and I'm gonna have to let you go. You're gonna go in F. I'm sorry Z. I'm sorry. So this is my ranking of all 26 letters in the English alphabet. I really just sat here for like 10 minutes and did that. And if you made it this far in the video, you really just sat here for like 10 minutes and watched me do that. So who's got the bigger problems here? So, do you agree with my ranking of the English alphabet letters? If you did, then leave a like. If you didn't, do whatever the hell you want, I don't care. Comment below how you would rank the letters of the English alphabet, and I'll see you in about a week for the next video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time, everybody.